I started to like the sport when the Jackets just started, and my dad watched him a lot, and I watched him with him, and that's how I started to play hockey. I just kept on watching it and said I want to be a hockey guy, and kept on saying that for 3 years, and they finally put me on skates.
He kept saying it year after year, so we finally let him do it.
He was 3 when he said that. We got him his first mini hockey net for Christmas, and I said, he's 3 years old. There's no way he's playing hockey at 3. He needs to wait. And we want to see if this is something he really wants to do. And he did. He just kept saying it year after year after year. I'm going to be a hockey guy. I want to play hockey. So when he was 6, that's when we said, okay, we'll start him in the learn to skate classes.
He was determined to skate. The kid couldn't stand on skates for 5 seconds. I'm not even joking. He was by far the worst skater on the ice, and he could barely stand on 2 feet on the ice. So then my wife came with me the next practice, and he made it like 7 to 10 seconds, and she was like, oh, you're right, this is terrible. I'm like, no, this is good. He's actually doing a lot better. Every practice, he just kept getting a little better, and then before you knew it, he was one of the better skaters. His older brother actually watched him play a little bit, and his older brother got interested.
I thought it looked really cool, so I took the classes to learn how to skate, and then I got thrown right into it.
Everyone who plays hockey, no one is good when they start out. There's not one person who can just come out and be lights out awesome. It just doesn't happen. But to see the kids develop year after year, and then see all their friends and the kids on their team, it's a really cool sport to watch.
We're both from small town, Northwest Ohio, so there is no ice rinks there. So, it was kind of new to us. Like I say, it was the only pro sport here in town, Columbus Blue Jackets, and I watched a little bit on TV, and I kind of enjoyed watching it. It's different than the normal baseball, football that you get from where we're from. It's a smaller, very tight-knit group of people.
And if you've never been in that group, like when we talk to family, especially like I think it wasn't this year, but the year before last, he and I went on a trip in November. So his parents came, and they had to run the boys to their practices and then the games and the weekends, and they were exhausted. They said, we don't know how you do this, and why do you do this? Because where we're from, we don't have this sport. We were both athletic and played sports, and we love sports, and our parents were used to the sports that we had. It is a shock compared to especially when you think, well, when I was a kid, this is nothing like when I was a kid, because A, we didn't have it, and things are just so much different too. We put all of our schedules in our phones. We have them at computers, so they have their iPods, so at any given time, any of us can look at the calendar and say, okay, what is our schedule for today? The boys both played on a house team, which is what people would call rec league, and they both played on a select team, which people would consider a travel team. So we had 4 schedules that we had to manage. We were lucky this year that both of their house practices were back-to-back and on the same day. It hasn't always been like that in other years. Practice
is exactly 24 miles from here, so every time they have practice, that's 50 miles on the car. It's you're gone for 3.5 hours at least, putting 50 miles on the car 2 times a week, plus then there's games. Most of them are here in Columbus, downtown, or Easton, Dublin, or Lewis Center, Worthington. We had a tournament this year in Indianapolis and one in Detroit. Sometimes we go to Pittsburgh, and then we'll do like a day trip maybe to Cincinnati or Toledo or Cleveland to play teams from there, maybe a double header, and then they come here and play a double header with the select program. It's
hard for the families or friends who aren't in the hockey world to understand, why we would, why the kids would choose the sport, why we would allow them, with this kind of schedule, sometimes the cost, but once you're in it, and we do it because they love it, and we've come to love it because of them, and you just do it, and it's a lot of fun.